Still really skeptical. We're out here tonight to see if I can prove something to myself, or if I can try to debunk this as maybe my mind is just playing tricks. I'm gonna be 100% real. I'm actually a little bit nervous to even just ask, because you have these things happen to you, and I guess that you want to prove that it's either something real and legit, or... Oh, it came on. And that was not me moving this time. I think one of them's here with us right now. What's up, everybody? Zach here from Half Pace Outdoors. So I have been discussing in the last few videos how the channel is going to be making some changes in what we're going to be doing. And I guess tonight is kind of the pilot as to where the direction of the channel is going to be going from here on out. There's still some I want to say neighborhood, but I live out in the country. There's still some noise going on. I'm sure you guys just heard the side-by-sides going down the road, neighbors over there riding four-wheelers in his woods. So there's going to be a bit of background noise, but I'd really like you guys to bear with me tonight, because this is going to be really interesting. Let's start off with a little bit of history about my property. My wife and I bought this 3 years ago. It is a 7.5 acre long plot of land. It is entirely woods. As you can see, I'm standing on my driveway. We are up near the front. You can see the abandoned house across the street. I use the term abandoned lightly because the older gentleman who lives there is 96 years old. And he only comes up and stays every now and then through the winter time, every couple of years. And I had the pleasure of meeting him last year. So my house is a quarter mile back that way. This land up here used to have a old Quaker Sunday school church. And this is according to the guy that grew up in that house across the street. His name is Lauren. As I said, he's 96 years old when I met him last year, so I'm sure he's 97 by now. There was an old Quaker Sunday school church sitting right up here by the road, and I will take you guys up here because let me grab my walking staff. My wife and I were clearing things out to start building our driveway and building our home in here. We were finding things that were kind of odd, and there were some odd experiences. So let me show you. I found one of the cornerstones that church Sunday school was built on. You can see it. It's right here. Right under this moss. And where we have our driveway coming in is actually the original driveway. It was a driveway, a wagon trail. It was kind of used as all things. And we built on top of it. We found the paving bricks underneath of old stone. We found this cornerstone. There's another cornerstone that somehow got pushed farther up the driveway, and it's the exact same material. At those Sunday schools and those little churches, what they would do is when a family had a newborn that would pass away, but they didn't have the money to give them a burial plot in the cemetery and a headstone, they would bury them at the local Sunday school, and they would just mark the grave with their little white cross. Now, we never found any crosses, we never found any indentations, but mind you, this is all a 60+ year history that I'm giving you. Because since the Sunday school got torn down and the graves were kind of, you know, forgotten by generations and generations. The neighbor's father had farmed our land at one time. Our oldest trees are only about 50 to 60 years old. Some of them towards the back are like 75, 80, maybe a little bit older. But everything out here is a fairly young forest. There's just a little bit of a brief history, and I guess I should add that where my wife and I actually ended up deciding to build our house at in the back, it was kind of a little bit of a clearing before the older woods. You could see a separation in the growth, in the age of growth. But it was a little bit of a clearing, and we pretty much, our driveway followed the hard packed ground all the way back. And I had never knew this until I talked to the gentleman that owns the property across the street. There used to be a wagon trail that went all the way to where we're building our house, and that was where they used to take the wagons and everything back there to have like family gatherings and holiday things. Now at some point we will go over into the area where the supposed grave sites are. We're going to see if we can catch some evidence over there. Another thing to mention is that I have found at least one, I think two, but I have to confirm them with an app, and I think that's something we'll do in another investigation up here. I believe I found hawthorn tree fairy rings, and for anybody interested in that, the hawthorn is it's a fairy tree. It's a fae protection tree. I'm gonna be kind of leading into this stuff solo and doing it on my own. Me and a really good friend that I grew up with are going to be also starting another channel where it's going to be the two of us investigating things. I'm going to be doing my solo investigations here. I've had some strange experiences and occurrences that have happened since we bought the property. My oldest son and I were the first ones to actually stay out here on the property when we got it opened up. And what we did was we had the driveway cut in so far to here. Right here is probably only about 150 feet. No, 100 feet. We're only 100 feet in here. So him and I had set up, this was our first little area that we cleared out over in here. And it was just so that we had a staging area for working and someplace to stack firewood and things like that. And I had the idea that I was going to use this for a wood yard up to present day, which I do. It's where we process all of our firewood. But my oldest son, me, and my bulldog at the time were sleeping in a tent. We had my vehicle parked out here on the driveway, and I woke up at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's really bright outside. It shouldn't be bright outside, so I unzip the tent and I crawl out, and I look over at my Envoy, at my SUV, and my lights are turned on, pointing off into the woods. That doesn't make sense. I didn't have electrical issues with that vehicle. My main keys, like my key fob and my key, are in the tent with us. And I always left my spare key in my glove box. And that was just in case. I do a lot of solo adventuring. If I'm ever out somewhere and I happen to get into an incident where I lose my keys, I can get back to my vehicle, break a window, and still get home. In an emergency that, I can't wait for somebody to come out and unlock the car. it didn't make sense that my headlights were on. My dog never made a sound. He never barked, never growled, and he was a very alert, fair aged dog. He was about 10 at the time. You know, he never made a sound. So I put my boots on. I wake the dog up. We climb out of the tent and come over here to where my Envoy was sitting. It's actually sitting, my four-wheeler is sitting about where my Envoy was at the moment. So I come over here to my Envoy, and the doors are closed. So I open the driver door. You know, there's like, I wasn't intoxicated that night, so there's no reason that I would have left the headlights on. But the headlight switch is turned on, and for some reason, you know, you just start checking things. So I checked my keys. The keys are in the ignition and it's turned on, but it's turned on to accessory. You know, like when you start the car and you let go of the key and that's where it rests at, it was on. But again, the vehicle door is closed, so nobody was over here messing with it, because if they would have opened or closed that door, my dog would have started barking. You know, this was almost 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, we didn't have rock at the time. It was just mud. There was no boot prints in the mud except for mine and Deegan's shoe prints and the dog's paw prints. Nothing. So I took the key out of the ignition, shut everything off, climbed back in the tent, and I laid there pretty restlessly the rest of the night. You know, didn't experience anything else. I was camping out here one time, and I got this on another video. I was sitting by my fire talking to my camera, and you could hear something, well, I could hear something. It kept running behind me, but it wasn't an animal. This was something small and bipedal that was running behind me. And I have tried cranking the audio up on every kind of editing app that I can get my hands on, or audio software, and you just can't hear it on the camera audio. But you can see my reaction. So then we start living out here, and at night hikes, we could hear things following us. Animals in the woods don't do that. I'm a hunter, I'm a trapper. You know, I've grown up in the woods. Animals in the woods do not follow you, they run away from you. And then another thing is, I have always been in the woods. Let the car go by. I've always been in the woods with dogs. So I know what a four-legged creature in the woods sounds like. I know what a squirrel sounds like. I know the sounds of animals. And this was something small and bipedal following us. It never made any sense. And you know, you'd turn around and expect to see something and there's nothing there. But it was never anything that felt malicious. It always felt like it was a curiosity. More than anything else, it always felt like it was curious. Trying to figure out what we're doing here, what the purpose of us being here is, and watching the things that we're doing. There was one time I was working in my shed. It's my shed and workshop right now until I get a garage built. I was working in my shed, and I have a ramp coming out. I don't have steps. I have just a little smooth, nice, soft ramp coming out of the shed. and I have spinal cord injury and weak legs, so I tripped coming out of the shed. And something was at the end of my ramp, and when I was picking myself up, I mean, me to you from the camera, and I'm this far away, okay? I could have reached out and touched it if I could have seen it. It laughed at me. I got it was a little a little chuckle just right in my face. And I said, this is the first time that I actually spoke to whatever it is that's out here. And I'll get into what it is I think is out here in a minute. But I said, we know that you're here. I have heard you. I have felt you. I know that you're here. I just wish you would let me see you. And that was the first time that when it took off running away from me, I could actually see the blades of grass part as whatever it is running away. It was, I'm getting chills, and not because it's chilly out here. It was so surreal. It was just, it was such a surreal moment. And I'd never had any kind of experience like that before. I'm still really skeptical. We're out here tonight to see if I can prove something to myself, or if I can try to debunk this as maybe my mind is just playing tricks on me. Because I have experienced things in my woods that I have not experienced anywhere else that I have ever been. And I do a lot of backwoods camping, solo camping, stealth camping. And I've never experienced something like that. It was absolutely mind-blowing, and I didn't know what to do with it at the moment. But again, it wasn't a malicious laugh. It wasn't like it was laughing at my misery. I mean, I laugh when I fall most of the time. So it was laughing with me, I feel. It wasn't being mean. There's nothing mean about what's happening out here. I'm out here with some pretty basic gear tonight. I'm just kind of seeing. We're gonna see what happens. If we actually catch something with the little bit of stuff that I have, then we're gonna get some upgraded things and go from there. But tonight I just have like a motion light. I've got some touch pod lights. And I'm gonna hope that maybe somehow we possibly catch an EVP in the camera. And I also have a compass, and I feel that they might be able to manipulate, spirits and things might be able to manipulate compasses because they put off electromagnetic fields. Or they can manipulate electromagnetic fields, and compasses work on a magnetic field. So we're going to see if that theory might be true or not. Okay, I'll get geared up, and I think first we will head over to where Lauren told me the grave sites should be. So what I brought out here tonight, first things first, I got a little motion light that like you put in a kitchen. So let's go ahead, or a closet, something like that. Now I've already tested my lights out. I've had them turned on and stuff all day. This one doesn't have an on switch, but it turns off after 45 seconds. These two are a touch activated pod light that actually have an on and off switch. So let's turn them on. Motion light just turned off. Now these work just with a touch. Okay. And again, I have had these turned on in the cabin all day. They have not once turned on. And they, like I've tried, you can't just turn these on with a pencil or, you know, just by touching it with anything. The only things I could get to turn these on was my finger or a magnet. So there's both of the pod lights, the motion lights over there. So it's just, it's all mud. Alright, you know, when I put those there, that didn't turn on. Hey guys, Zach here. So I am working through editing this video out, and at this point it's occurring to me that I am actually moving around quite a bit after I have this motion light out, and I'm not setting it off like turning around, or you know, even just standing there moving like you're seeing me do in the video is not setting that motion light off. As I said, even when I set those pod lights down, that motion light didn't go off. So go down in the comments. Do you think that it's because of my movement setting that off, or do you think something might be there with me turning the motion light on? I'm a little on the skeptic side, so I want to see what your guys' opinions are. Go down there, leave a comment, and let me know. I'm going to be 100% real. I'm actually a little bit nervous to even just ask, because you have these things happen to you, and I guess that you want to prove that it's either something real and legit, or you want nothing to do with it. I guess I gotta know. Okay, so I'm moving a little bit, just trying to test that motion light out, and it's not doing anything. If there's anybody here with me, can you touch one of these two pod lights sitting on the ground and turn one on? Or can you maybe walk near the white bar? It'll turn on just by moving to it. I really just want to have a conversation if there's anybody here. Is the history about this place true? What Lauren told me? Was there a church here? Or a Sunday school? If there's anybody here with me, please touch one of these lights on the ground. It's really quiet. My name is Zach. Can you come over here and talk to me? I really mean no harm. We're not here to bother or disturb anybody. Hello? thought I just heard a step to my left, which is fairly common. I did. Are you coming over to talk with me? I also had a big movement at the time. If you're here, can you please touch one of these pod lights? That motion light just turned on again. Is that you coming over here? Because this time I didn't move. If you're here, can you please touch one of these lights? Yeah, see, oh, it might be me moving it. It might be me moving that's turning on that motion light. Just gonna stand here and listen for a few minutes. There's somebody walking up to me. Can you move a branch? Or, you know, if you just walk in front of the light bar that's over here, I can hear you walking. I just want to talk. Oh, it came on. And that was not me moving this time. I've already panned the camera a couple times and the light's not come on. Can you touch one of these pod lights? You just got to touch it right in the center of it. So even me over here moving around this little bit does not turn that light on. Flipping the camera around. It's not turning that light on. I think one of them's here with us right now. One of my theories is that spirits are supposed to manipulate electromagnetic fields. If that's the case, then they should be able to manipulate a compass. And And I actually tried this once before at another graveyard investigation that was on my channel a long time ago, and I never got anything. Let's go ahead and set this down, and I will try to just do my best to keep an eye on it because I don't have that great of lighting with me tonight. I did not come out here with the top-notch equipment thinking that I'm going to get any kind of results, because we have already had very strong energy things happen here, and what I have brought out is stuff that's very easy to manipulate, I believe. I would think. So that's why, you know, if they're going to be able to interact with anything, they're going to be able to interact with the simple things as well as all the high-tech gear. And that's kind of my thinking and theory on it. Okay, so if I'm right, then whoever it was that was over there that turned the motion light on, can you please come over here? I just heard steps. Steps. Can you please come over here? I just heard steps. Steps. If there's anybody out here with me, can you please come over here and either turn one of the lights on, just touch one of these pod lights and they'll come on, or move past the motion light, or if you can, just come over here and turn the compass. I think if you walk near the compass, you're going to be able to move it. And I know it's close to me. Don't be scared. I mean you no harm at all. We're just as curious about you out here as you are of us. Move a branch. Move a limb or something. I keep hearing steps over there. And kind of like they're going in this direction and then they go back. You've been close to me before. The camera and the lights are not going to hurt you, I promise. There's nothing with me that's going to hurt you. Am I just not in the right place? Do I need to be in one of the rings? You're fairy folk, aren't you? You're the Fae, aren't you? I think that's what it, I honestly, I feel that's what it may be. I believe we may have little people or fairy folk in the woods. Like they're part of the land here. And I feel that because of the rings that we have found and the playful nature. And again, I just, you know, it was, what was that? I just saw a red light. There's footsteps over here. I can hear you. Please come over and talk. Just show me that you're here. Move a branch or a plant. I just saw a red dot go like behind those two big trees, and then it like disappeared over there. I've even tried, you know, because I wear glasses, so making sure that it's not a reflection in my lenses or anything. I don't see anything. Just come over and turn the motion light on one more time. Are you being shy tonight? I can hear you just on the edge of where I can see. There's movement behind the camera now. What is going on? That's a coup. See, and the animals are not going to be coming here. They know that I'm here. The animals hear me. They're not going to be coming around here. They're going to be staying away. Man, I really hope it caught the sound of them walking across the outsides, though. I could hear that. We know that you're here. I'm going to have to head back soon. Can you please just turn one of these lights on or move the compass? You went away from me, didn't you? Alright guys, I'm Zach. This is Half Pace Outdoors. Make sure you go down there, give us a like, subscribe, ring the bell for further notifications. Leave a comment on some thoughts. What do you guys think I could do to try to get some more activity? More responses maybe would be the way to go. I'm going to be continuing on with solo investigations. It's going to be something that we get into here on the channel. The next time that we come out here, or the next time that we're on, I think what we will do is go map out the fairy rings, and I will show you guys those on the property. It's really strange. And again, I am just more inclined to think that whatever's out here has to do with the fae folk than it has to do with spirits, so to say. Alright, thanks for coming along. I will see you guys all on the next one.